Alabama coaches face tough questions after a shocking loss to Florida State. But here's where it gets controversial. When Monday rolls around, the Alabama coaching staff typically takes center stage for media press conferences, while the players enjoy a rare day off. Following a surprisingly rough start to this season, the local journalists didn't hold back. They honed in on the team's effort, tightly scrutinizing the decision to rotate so many players during the game. The tension was palpable as reporters dug deep into coaching strategies and team dynamics. For those wanting a quick overview, there's an AL.com article that summarizes the key points from all three press conferences. But if you prefer hearing directly from the coaches, the full videos are available as well. Starting with Kane Wommack, his main message was blunt and to the point. Alabama's defense played too cautiously. He openly admitted that defending against mobile quarterbacks has been a recurring struggle for the past 2 years. It's a significant admission because it highlights a vulnerability that opponents might exploit. Then came Ryan Grubb's press conference, and if I'm being honest, this one was the most frustrating of all. It felt like déjà vu from his time last year in Seattle, with a repetitious theme. We aimed to run the ball more, but the game slipped away from us. This pattern of explanations might wear thin for fans and analysts alike. Are we simply stuck hearing the same playbook of excuses? Kalen DeBoer's comments, however, offered more depth and honesty, especially on the topic of penalties. He was clear. There are serious consequences, particularly for careless penalties. DeBoer emphasized protecting the quarterback and not operating in a gray area when it comes to rules. He assured that these issues are fully addressed but conceded that now it's up to the players to execute. His passion really came through when he urged the team to cut loose and just play without overthinking things. This was his core message from the day before. Enjoy the game, block out the noise, and play with an edge, because we have something to prove. Here's the part most people miss. DeBoer raised a thought-provoking question about penalties and accountability. Even if each player learns from their first mistake and stops repeating it, the team might still rack up numerous penalties throughout the season. So, how can the coaching staff instill a level of personal responsibility where players avoid mistakes altogether, eliminating the need for punishment? Frankly, it's a tough question without an easy answer, and that's exactly why the coaching staff's expertise, reflected by their big paychecks, is crucial. On the injury front, there's a bit of good news mixed with caution. Jaden Roberts is expected to return next week. Jamarian Latham remains uncertain, sidelined with a lower body issue. Isaiah Horton should be ready by the end of this week, but Tim Keenan and Jam Miller are still out. Ryan Williams, dealing with a concussion, is day-to-day as well. Alabama has been under a microscope in college football conversations lately, and none other than Nick Saban has publicly addressed it. Speaking at an ESPN event before the North Carolina versus TCU game, Saban voiced the frustration many fans share. The biggest disappointment was Florida State's total control of the line of scrimmage on both offense and defense. But Saban balanced that critique with a hopeful perspective, saying, "Every team truly has the best chance to improve from week 1 to week 2. He added a crucial reminder about college football's unpredictability early in the season. At the start, as a coach, you're never quite sure what you have. The first game always brings anxiety because so much is unknown. It's fascinating to consider how college football increasingly mirrors the NFL's rhythm and structure. In the NFL, Week 1 often delivers wild, surprising results that don't necessarily predict the rest of the season. Maybe that's wishful thinking for Alabama fans, but this game certainly felt that way, with player rotations and experimentation highlighting a team still trying to find its best formula. Ultimately, while this loss feels painful, it's also recoverable, especially if viewed in isolation. However, when combined with last year's disheartening finish, including losses to Michigan and Oklahoma, a worrying pattern emerges. This isn't just a bad game. It's part of the potentially troubling downward trend for Alabama. Shifting gears to the broader operational side, NFL coaches and general managers often attract public debates about accountability when their teams win or lose, and internal power struggles are not uncommon. As college football GMs gain more influence and bigger salaries, it's reasonable that their roles receive more public attention when teams falter or thrive. A figure worth spotlighting is Morgan, who joined Kalen DeBoer's staff in January 2024. He plays a pivotal role in recruiting, both high school talent and transfers. Thanks in part to his efforts, Alabama secured an impressive 2026 high school class, currently ranked 5th nationally by 247 Sports. Yet, that brings us to an interesting, less discussed angle. Alabama's 2025 transfer portal class disappointed in its debut Saturday. The team added 12 players from the portal last off-season, a group ranked 21st nationally by 247 Sports. However, 2 were walk-on tight ends, Peter Knudsen and Jaden Hobson, with Hobson departing during fall camp. Of the remaining 10, only 3 had significant impact in the opener. Left guard Cam Dewberry, Texas A&M, wide receiver Isaiah Horton, Miami, and punter Blake Dowd, Colorado School of Mines. What's striking here is the lack of meaningful reinforcements, especially on the defensive line. The sole addition on that front, Kelby Collins, barely saw 3 snaps as freshmen got the nod instead. This raises a critical question that might stir debate. Is Alabama's heavy reliance on recruiting top high school players still enough in today's competitive landscape? Or does the program need to pivot towards stronger transfer integration, akin to how NFL teams balance drafts and free agency? I've always favored building through the draft over free agency in the NFL, but at the college level, the transfer portal might need to play a bigger role to maintain dominance. So here's the controversy to chew on. Are Alabama and other powerhouse programs relying too heavily on incoming freshman recruits, potentially neglecting the immediate impact transfers could bring? And does the current strategy risk stagnation in an increasingly dynamic college football environment? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with this perspective, or do you think the traditional recruiting model still reigns supreme? Let me know in the comments. This conversation is just getting started.